high above the realms of human understanding. In a domain suffused with eternal light, there existed a being of extraordinary beauty and power, known in Christian tradition as Lucifer, the light-bringer, and in Islamic teachings as Iblis, the one who defied the command of God. This entity's tale is both captivating and instructive. The Bible and the Quran recount the rebellion of this being, each through unique perspectives yet converging on a profound moral truth. Arrogance and disobedience before the Creator lead inevitably to downfall. In Christianity, Lucifer's fall is portrayed as the consequence of pride and envy, a celestial tragedy with eternal ramifications. In Islam, Iblis's defiance represents the conscious exercise of free will and the emergence of temptation for humanity. Today, we unravel this cosmic narrative, exploring scripture, interpretations, and the shared wisdom between traditions. This story is more than a historical recounting. It is a timeless lesson on pride, obedience, and the cosmic order, revealing the delicate balance between authority, free will, and the nature of temptation. The celestial stage is set, and the drama of heaven begins. In the Christian Bible, Lucifer is described as one of the most exalted angels, created perfect in beauty and wisdom. Isaiah 14:12-15 proclaims, "How you have fallen from heaven, O morning star, son of the dawn! You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations." Here, the imagery conveys both physical radiance and the moral collapse resulting from pride. Ezekiel 28:12-17 elaborates, portraying him as the model of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty, yet highlighting the internal corruption that took root in his heart. The brilliance of Lucifer's creation becomes the very instrument of his fall. The very attributes that made him exalted beauty, wisdom, honor, are intertwined with his eventual rebellion. The Bible describes Lucifer's ambition to ascend above the stars of God, to establish his throne higher than heaven itself. Scholars interpret this not only as a literal angelic rebellion, but also as a metaphor for human pride, symbolizing the dangers of desire for power beyond one's rightful place. Revelation 12:7-9 recounts a cosmic battle. Michael and his angels wage war against the dragon, and the dragon identified with the fallen Lucifer is cast down. This narrative emphasizes the dual consequences: the literal fall of a celestial being and the archetypal warning of pride's destructiveness. Through the Bible, Lucifer's story becomes both a historical allegory and a moral lesson, cautioning against envy, self-exaltation, and rebellion against divine authority. Christian interpretations underscore the transformative nature of pride. Once a bearer of light, Lucifer becomes Satan, the adversary of humanity, symbolizing the eternal consequences of turning away from divine will. His rebellion is portrayed as conscious, calculated, and rooted in envy, both against God and the destiny of humans. Each passage serves to highlight the tension between free will and obedience, and the catastrophic results when the former is exercised against divine law. Lucifer's fall is thus both dramatic and didactic, a celestial tragedy that echoes through theological, literary, and moral reflections in Christianity. In the Quran, Iblis occupies a different ontological category. Created from smokeless fire, he was not an angel, but a jinn. Surah Al-Araf 7:11-12. Elevated among angels due to his piety, he was commanded to bow to Adam upon God's instruction. Iblis's response, "I am better than him. You created me from fire and him from clay." Surah Al-Araf 7:12 signifies conscious defiance, an assertion of perceived superiority and pride. Unlike the Christian angelic rebellion, Iblis's act is deliberate, reasoned, and laden with the exercise of free will. God declares, "Depart from here, for you are of the rejected ones." Surah Al-Araf 7:13, marking the beginning of his eternal role as tempter. Iblis's narrative emphasizes choice and accountability. Islamic scholars interpret this story as an illustration of moral responsibility. even exalted beings must choose obedience over arrogance. His refusal is not ignorance, but conscious arrogance. God's subsequent decree grants Iblis the ability to mislead humans until the day of judgment. Surah Al-Araf 7:15-18, demonstrating the dual purpose of his rebellion, the manifestation of free will and the testing of human beings. The Quran presents Iblis as both antagonist and instrument of divine wisdom, serving as a vehicle through which humans confront their own choices. Iblis's dialogue and actions emphasize pride as a universal principle of downfall. He vows to lead humans astray. Surah Al-Araf 7:16-17. Yet, even in rebellion, his role illustrates the divine orchestration of testing and moral development. While the Bible frames Lucifer as an adversary primarily among angels, the Quran situates Iblis's rebellion within the context of humanity, highlighting the interplay of free will, temptation, and obedience. His story conveys that no status, power, or previous honor can exempt any being from accountability, reinforcing a recurring spiritual principle shared with the Christian narrative. Though Christian and Islamic narratives diverge in detail, the moral convergence is striking. Both beings, created with exceptional attributes and proximity to God, experience downfall due to pride and defiance. In both cases, rebellion represents the catastrophic consequences of self-exaltation and the challenge of authority. Yet distinctions remain. Lucifer is depicted as an angel, inherently bound by the limits of angelic obedience, whereas Iblis is a jinn, endowed with inherent free will and capable of conscious moral choices. In Christianity, Lucifer's rebellion is entwined with envy and desire for sovereignty. Biblical texts emphasize beauty and wisdom, turning to corruption. In Islam, Iblis's refusal stems from pride and self-perceived superiority, focusing on his free-willed choice to disobey. Both traditions, however, converge on the didactic outcome. Disobedience leads to separation from divine grace. Both beings assume roles as tempters, Satan and Iblis, illustrating the enduring impact of rebellion on the cosmos and on humanity. This parallel underscores the universality of the moral lesson. Arrogance, when unchecked, results in spiritual exile. Both scriptures frame the story as a test of obedience. Lucifer's fall warns angels and humans alike against pride and rebellion. Iblis's defiance is a dynamic test, highlighting the human role in responding to temptation. In both narratives, the adversary becomes the measure against which virtue is tested, whereas Lucifer is cast from a position of celestial authority. Iblis becomes an active agent, interacting with humanity, demonstrating that rebellion is not confined to heavenly hierarchies, but extends to human moral experience. Christianity emphasizes the symbolic and cosmic consequences, while Islam emphasizes the ethical and practical dimensions of choice. Yet the underlying wisdom is shared. Arrogance leads to ruin, and obedience safeguards harmony. Both stories integrate dramatic narrative with moral instruction, showing that power, beauty, or proximity to God cannot override accountability. Pride, defiance, and rebellion are universal catalysts of downfall across both traditions. Muslims view Iblis as a profound symbol of the consequences of disobedience and the exercise of free will. Christians regard Lucifer as a cautionary tale about pride, moral corruption, and the origins of evil. Jewish tradition, while less focused on Lucifer, discusses fallen angels and rebellious spirits, emphasizing divine justice and moral vigilance. Across these faiths, the figure of the fallen celestial being illustrates the universal consequences of challenging God's authority. These interpretations converge on a shared moral principle. Regardless of rank, power, or prior honor, every being is accountable for its choices. The stories of Lucifer and Iblis offer lessons not only in theology but in human morality, the dangers of arrogance, the necessity of humility, and the importance of aligning action with ethical principles. By juxtaposing these narratives, we gain insight into the human condition, understanding the enduring consequences of pride and rebellion across religions. These stories encourage reflection on personal conduct, guiding believers toward awareness of temptation, the consequences of moral deviation, and the value of obedience and humility. They bridge the gap between celestial narratives and human experience, demonstrating that lessons from heaven have relevance in everyday ethical decisions. The fall of Lucifer and Iblis illustrates a universal truth. Even beings of immense beauty, wisdom, and power are not immune to the consequences of arrogance. Pride acts as the catalyst for downfall, while obedience to divine will safeguard harmony. The Quran and Bible, despite differences in narrative and terminology, converge on this moral principle, emphasizing that defiance has universal consequences. Both stories reveal that temptation and testing are integral to moral and spiritual development. Lucifer and Iblis serve as cautionary figures, reminding believers and observers alike that free will must be exercised with responsibility. The cosmic drama, while specific to celestial beings, mirrors human ethical struggles, illustrating the timeless relevance of these narratives in guiding moral behavior and spiritual reflection. In exploring the tales of Lucifer and Iblis, we witness the interplay of pride, defiance, and divine justice. Both scriptures, while presenting unique perspectives, reinforce a singular truth: arrogance precedes downfall, and obedience ensures alignment with divine harmony. The narratives, rich in symbolism and moral depth, offer lessons not just for theologians, but for every individual navigating the challenges of moral choice. By examining these stories side by side, we gain insight into the consequences of pride, the value of humility, and the enduring relevance of ancient wisdom in guiding human conduct. The fall of these exalted beings is a reminder that even the brightest light can be overshadowed by arrogance, and that redemption and awareness are accessible through reflection, obedience, and humility.